here by... Wait a minute. You're not beloved Canadian cartoonist Ken Stacy. You're some kind of creature from the Black Lagoon, a fish man.
I mean, blah, 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 blah.
Wait a minute. Are you actually Ken Stacy dressed as a fish man? I've been bamboozled.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Hey!
So I have to tell y'all, when I was young, I wanted to be the creature from the Black Lagoon when I grew up, because I thought it was like the coolest monster imaginable. I mean, I always thought that like being able to breathe underwater would be great, and I actually did learn to scuba dive, so I could kind of breathe underwater. It was sort of cheating. Anyway, hi.
Hi.
It's great to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's time for Ken, value-added Stacy, for what we're going to call the traditional Alpha Flight Hour. It's a power hour.
The
Ken,
Power Hour.
we are here because it has been a really long time since we saw you.
Far too long.
I described it as an interregnum.
Was it something I said?
No. It was something that all of us had to do, which was breathe each other's air.
Look who else is here.
And we have on the couch. Can we get a picture? Sorry for surprising you, engineering. Got Alex here as well. Hi. Hello. So we're here because one, you can't quit. You just love to do things for the children, don't you?
I do. This is like the best thing that I do, and I so appreciate the opportunity to be here for the children.
Well, thank you. You've raised just an astonishing and stonking amount of money.
In stonking?
In stonkening.
What does stonk mean? I've heard that word stonk.
It's like meme speak for line go up.
Oh, okay.
Oh, like big
See,
money,
this is what I love about
essentially.
this. I learned so much.
You could
I mean, I just-
you know in the parlance of today's youth, you could be Ken Stonk Stacy.
Wait a minute. Where's the chat? I want to see the chat because I'm sure right now.
We can't see chat from here, unfortunately.
Darn. Oh well.
So what we're gonna do here is you're gonna do a custom sketch for us, and we're gonna give it away while you're.
Indeed.
So you're gonna spend an hour sketching. You're here till the end of Alpha Flight. So what?
The end of Alpha Flight. Alpha Flight is ending. I'm so
I didn't want to tell you guys this way.
Oh
It's over.
Oh, all right.
We've been fired. Too much bucket. Not enough.
Yeah, it was an egregious amount of bucket.
Yeah.
I'm going to take off this sweater because I'm boiling under these lights.
I was
Oh
like,
my
Ken,
gosh.
why did Ken wear the sweater? It's not like him, but then I realized about halfway through that bit, it's because you could look more like the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Oh.
That's the Ken we know. And
Yes.
love.
Nice shirt.
See, I figured. Wait a minute. Here, I'm gonna have to.
That's good.
I'm gonna have to give you the full meal deal. Just a minute. I don't want to knock over Captain. No, what's this?
Yeah, and if you stand up, you're gonna get your top of your head cut off. This is not. We'll have you do a fashion show
Let's
for us
see.
later, Ken.
No, see, oh, there we go.
Oh,
There
that
we go.
works. That works. They've widened the shot.
Did you say give us the full meal deal?
Yes.
I like you.
Thank you.
Have you met Jacob before?
Very briefly, years and years ago. Yeah.
Hi there.
When I just kind of keyed in that was Alex's dad when I heard them talking to each other.
That's one of my many nicknames.
Jacob's
Ken,
kind of a
dad
big
of
deal.
Alex, Stacy. So I figure if you're a cool cat, you should like
Dress
dress
like
the part.
All right.
Exactly.
So we've got a sketch. Let's get to the sketch.
We do. Let's get to the sketch. Okay, so seeing as how this is Alpha Flight, and what?
Wait, look, both of us got to stop hitting the table like that because I can feel like Joe grimacing from here.
Sorry.
That thing up there, that's our microphone.
That's
so-
a microphone?
Yeah, that's the
Doesn't
microphone.
look like a
So
microphone.
we sound amazing, but also that whappity whap also sounds it's intense.
I've spent two people with earphones on. I
Yes.
apologize to the people with earphones on.
Oh, I did it too.
Yeah, no.
All right, so you have a sketch for us. What are you
I
sketching?
do. Okay, so now can we switch back and forth between the look down cameras and the look in cameras? And there we go. Oh, okay. Now this is going to be interesting.
Don't worry about the cameras. Just talk about
Okay.
this.
Okay, so when I do conventions, what I'm most often asked for is my autograph. No, is sketch covers. So this is now a thing. This has been happening for a few years, so you may be aware of. These are I don't even have any idea what comic book this is, but it has a pre-printed cover on lovely paper that's really fun to draw on. And so I will take commissions and do them on these covers. So seeing as how this is Alpha Flight, I thought maybe we would do a character from Alpha Flight But I'm going to throw that out to the chat. Alpha Flight, as you probably are aware, I believe was created by John Byrne, a Canadian, an expatriate Canadian. He ran away from Canada. No judging. Also, the first gay character in comics was North Star from Alpha Flight. Great bunch of characters. So just, can anybody look at chat and see if we have any suggestions as to...
The Bucketeer.
No,
Sasquatch. A lot of bucket.
a character from the superhero team Alpha Flight, I believe.
Yeah.
Is what he's
who's
looking
the
for.
Bucketeer?
Oh, Ken, if you have a little extra time, we have a tradition here on Alpha Flight that involves a bucket.
Oh,
So
okay.
don't worry about it.
There's also Snowbird and Puck mentioned.
Yep.
Puck,
Ooh,
yes, Puck.
All right, what
Alpha.
are we seeing? Snowbird is good.
I'm seeing a lot of Puck.
You're seeing a lot
Yeah.
of Puck.
Puck.
Yep, seeing a lot of Puck.
All right. You think that we're allowed to? We can call it by like chat vibes that it's.
I think
Puck?
we can call it by chat vibes that it's Puck. Does
All
everybody
right.
agree?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's Puck, who is... I'm trying to remember. Puck was an acrobat who joined Alpha Flight. I think wasn't Wolverine part of like not Alpha Flight, but there was a different one.
Weapon X.
Weapon X. Right. There we go. See, I should know this stuff. I've done enough Wolverine, so.
Jacob's
Okay.
here to do it for you.
Thank you.
I got you.
Yeah,
Do
we're
you
a
want to
team.
do the sketch?
I wasted my youth.
Didn't we all?
That's why you're a fun person today.
That's true.
Well, not just today, but I mean, just.
I mean,
No, it's just today. This is you get it, man. Like this is it.
I've been working with him all week. It's just.
Oh snap!
Those just our vibes here. That's how we show love.
Alrighty. Now, I kind of
She
want
hit wrong.
I hope you can watch me do this, but I just realized.
We can figure out with Kevin.
Is it all possible to swing the camera?
Oh, yeah,
So,
look at
there,
that.
look at that.
No, we are good to go.
You're amazing. Okay, but it's upside down. Can you rotate the image?
I'm sure they can figure it out.
That'll be a tricky one. I'm waiting.
So while we're waiting
No
for them to get that set out, let's figure out how much we're going to give this donation.
Oh, yes,
away
yes,
for.
yes.
So typically, as it's been a few years, so it's so we typically do a number between 5 and 10.
Yep.
What are your vibes on this?
Okay, my vibe is all right. So I've been invited to a convention in Australia. hello to all our friends in my stand, and
I love Australia.
I'm super excited because one of them is in Brisbane or near Brisbane because that's where my family is from originally.
Oh, really?
My paternal grandmother is from Australia. So
They
yes.
cannot rotate it
It
around.
cannot rotate.
So whenever
Okay,
you're
so I'll
ready,
have to draw it upside down, which will be even more challenging.
That's very Australian
So
of you, though.
well, oh, you're good.
Yeah.
I'm a professional this 1 week a year.
I
Did you
was
know
just gonna
that?
say. Anyway, so I was checking flights, which are horrendously expensive. But anyway, but the plane I'm hoping to fly on is the Dreamliner,
Ooh.
which is the Boeing 787. So I'm kind of thinking maybe $7.87.
That's a great idea. That's a great
Oh,
investment.
Is that a good number?
That sounds fantastic.
Fantastic.
I'm gonna say let's do it and let's call it because people are holding their donations because they want the sketch.
Yeah.
So
all
we're
right.
gonna say $7.87 until you know what? We're gonna go until 5:55, which should give us just enough time to pull it.
Right before.
5:50. No,
Yes.
we're gonna do it until 5:50. So you have 40 minutes to get your donations.
Which is perfect because
$7.87 in.
do I get to spin the wheel of fortune or?
Well, it's a virtual wheel of fortune, unfortunately. But you can watch Tim press the button.
Can I press the button?
Yes, you can press the button over on
Yay.
Tim's computer.
Okay, this will work because then I can personalize it to the person who gets it.
That's a really great idea, actually, because we'll know before you're done.
There we go.
All right, so,
Oh look!
yes, and now
It's
we have
Ken,
chat.
First try Stacy. Dreamliner's greatest over. So I'm just gonna sit here and read the chat. This is my favorite
Ken's gonna
part.
start drawing.
I'm gonna-
You
yes.
guys are gonna put your, well, I'm sorry, I should not gender chat. Chat is an amorphous thing of many things.
Yes. Yeah.
And what we're gonna do is you're gonna put your questions for Ken in chat. I have some of my own questions for Ken. That's right, for Ken, no one can stop my hard-hitting news gathering.
Go. Hit me.
And well, Ken is gonna draw.
Okay, so first, I know there's all kinds of people who would love to draw comics and make cartoons, and it is fun and easy, and you can do it too. You can be me.
Ooh.
No, don't
But
be me.
art
Be you.
college costs so much money.
Well, as a matter of
And
fact,
art supplies are so expensive.
that's because you buy Copics. I keep telling people you don't have to buy Copics.
I need a computer to do it for me.
No, you don't. Now that we got ChatGPT, the computer. Well, actually.
Alpha
No,
Flight has
don't.
all projectile vomiting.
Here's a new one. Ken, don't get me started on AI. Stacy.
Don't worry, you're in good company here.
Yeah, we,
Good.
as somebody who's already tenuously employed by most definitions, I do not welcome computers taking my job and doing it way worse.
I'm trying to imagine sitting here with a laptop instead of you and it's going, Ken, tell me what you are working on right now.
Ken, tell me what you are working on right now. Is it
Actually,
starting
that
the
works.
sketch?
No. Okay, I know we can. Okay, so
All right.
so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you a crash course in.
In how to draw. All right.
You
Yes.
should draw more fingers.
Yes. I can do that. I will do that. It's just don't hit my buttons because.
All right, now, hey, Ken, I just want to point out that you can look at on our overlay and you can see the total sort of like ticking up quite aggressively now.
Oh.
We're already up to like $614,000 and 16. So you can see the number is just
Oh my god.
going because people are excited.
Well, Ken Spielberg's second worst movie. What does that mean?
I think they're just coming up with like honorifics for you. Ken, more fingers,
So
Stacy.
so I'm so looking forward to I'm up to I can't remember how many thousands of nicknames. I'm just this is my favorite part of Desert Bus
Yeah.
is all the nicknames. Okay, so very quickly, I thought I would go through the materials that you need, which are very simple. Obviously, a surface to draw on, and it can just be a piece of bond paper, or if you want to go large, get Strathmore 2-ply Bristol, which is a lovely heavier stock that takes pencils and pen and ink and erases really well, which is important. So the first thing you have to do is have a pencil with which to draw. And we draw in pencil because you can erase it and remove your mistakes. This is I think it's an HB, or it doesn't really matter the hardness. Bear in mind, the softer the pencil, so as you get into 6 and 8B, the darker the line is going to be. Also, the more difficult it will be to erase. The harder, the lighter it is, but then you tend to kind of grind, and then you kind of like dig divots into the paper. So be careful about that. So in order to economize, when my pencil gets too short, I put it into, this is called a pencil chuck, or if you want to be formal, a pencil Charles.
Point of order.
Alex has heard all these so many times.
Careful with that one, it's an antique.
It is. Okay, so pencil, and then once you penciled, you need an eraser. Now, oh, by the way, if you, there's an eraser. If you have a sketchbook, one thing when I was teaching at Camosun, I would say keep a sketchbook. Sketchbook is like a diary. It's like you only show it to people that you love and trust and want to show it to. It is where you make your mistakes. It is where you just blap stuff onto the page with wild abandon. And the thing to remember too is that we all have 10,000 bad drawings in us, and the time to start getting them out is now. I'm up to about 8,746, so I'm still working through them. It's like Pablo Casals at age 92 was asked why he still practiced 3 hours a day. He said, "I think I'm improving." So it's like we never stop learning, we never stop, growing. Okay, pencil, eraser, and then the fun part. And by the way, all the rendering in the world, which is what everybody wants to do. They want to do the fun part, which is rendering in pen and ink or marker and adding the color and so on. Will not save a poorly composed or badly drawn drawing. So do take the time to work through the drawing, get it as good as you can possibly make it, and your reward is that you then get to start using all these cool markers. Now, this is a Faber-Castell Pitt fine liner, which I use to draw straight lines with this remarkable device here, which is called
Remarkable.
a ruler.
What is it?
It's a ruler.
What is it?
So when people say, I can't draw a straight line, I pull this out and I whack no, I don't really whack them with it, but I say if you want to draw straight lines, this is what you use. Okay. So, these are the 3 tools I've been waiting for all my life. I'm so old, I remember using a dip pen and using a brush, and you dipped into an inkwell, and you had to get a nice point on it and so on. And it was a lovely tactile kind of experience. But I was always hoping for a flexible magic marker and a brush marker that was loaded with India ink. And finally, about 5 years ago, these wonderful devices came out. So this is the Tombow brush pen, the Tombow, oh, this is also the brush pen. Why is it called that? That's funny. They're both by Fudinske. One is the WSBS and the WSBH. Anyway, so the you'll see this one I actually start rendering this, but this one is a bit less flexible and gives you a nicer point. This one is more flexible, and then the brush marker is, it is a real live brush with nylon hairs, and it is a cartridge-based system, and all of these are waterproof, which means that you can put watercolor over top of them. So it's fabulous. And then I'll usually use Prismacolor pencils, which is a wax pencil that goes over really nicely, gives you nice textures and things. And sometimes I use a pigment micron for straight lines, and then for signing stuff, I just use those 2 pens, which you will see because I have something for everybody in Alpha Flight before I go.
Oh.
So there you go. Okay. Now I have to do. Now people sort of assume that when they come up to me and they say, "Can you do me a sketch of Puck?" I'll say, "Sure." And then there's a pause, and I'll go, "Do you have reference?" And they go, "What? Like I thought you would know like every Marvel character and their costume by heart." It's like, no, I don't. I'm sorry. So I don't have to go.
Ask who's already got you in chat, I believe.
Oh. Well, thank you. Just scroll by so that.
Yeah, you can probably also get a reference photo that will be up there for more than like 2 minutes, but.
You know what? I can pull it up on my tiny handheld device here. Just a moment.
While you're doing that, Ken, I'll just remind Chad, if you have any questions for Ken,
Yes.
Our comms volunteer TQ is keeping an eagle eye on Chad. Please put it in as question, all caps, colon, and then whatever your question is, so that she will see them, and she's going to pull them and compile a list that if we get a chance, we will ask them for Ken.
Here we go.
Sounds good. Erica, I will watch the stage channel, so I can
There's a thread there, yes.
Perfect.
Okay, now I noticed that there's 2 versions of the character. One where for some reason his arms and legs are bare, and then another one where he actually got pants.
I feel like obviously I don't want to. I feel like we're the no pants zone. I feel in Alpha Flight.
Absolutely. Okay. All right. So now wait a minute. I'm going to look this up and see what it says about the character. Let's get some info about the character.
Some character notes.
Puck is the code name of 2 fictional characters appearing in American comic books published by Marvel Comics. The 2 characters are a father and daughter pair who are both members of Alpha Flight in the Marvel Universe. Interesting. Powers and abilities. No superhuman powers, exceptional training, formal hand-to-hand combat, da-da-da-da-da. Okay, got it.
Awesome.
That was easy. Okay.
Yeah, he gets the stuffing knocked out of him all the time.
Oh, is that like...
It's not like a known thing for the character, but he just usually does. Cause
Usually gets...
Yeah, he's just a guy that decided to dress like that, and he was like, I can punch and flip. Let's do it.
We'll send Puck in first. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
then when he gets thrown out, it's like, okay.
Yeah, and Wolverine really likes him because he's one of the few superheroes that's shorter than Wolverine is.
Right. Okay.
So now that you're drawing, Ken, it's time to distract you with some questions.
Go right ahead.
One of the first questions that's come up in chat is, do you read any webcomics?
I try not to.
That's fair.
Except Alex's. I still spend more time, and I don't know if this is a function of age or what, but I love the visceral experience of flipping pages, and I don't enjoy the sort of
Click, click.
yeah. What would you call that? What kind of experience is that? It's non-visceral experience, I guess. So
Ephemeral.
Ephemeral. That's a good word. Yeah. See, I'm sort of ephemeral.
Yeah.
Borborygmus. What was the other one?
Interregnum.
Interregnum. There we go. Okay.
Okay, we got so many good words for you. So another question. You said you're going to near Brisbane? Are you
Yes.
going to be at some sort of convention that
Why,
we can
yes.
attend?
It's called Supernova.
Oh, when is Supernova?
And it's next April. And
Oh,
I'll be
okay.
doing 2 shows. I'll be doing one in April, I think 6th, and that's in Melbourne. And then I'll fly up to Brisbane to do one the following weekend. And of course, I had to look at a map because it's kind of, oh yeah, I'll just sort of hop up to Brisbane. That's like saying I'm in Miami and I'm going to hop up to New York City. There's a large distance.
I'm done.
Wow,
I
can.
I did that with lined paper and like a half-dead Sharpie, so.
Wait, hold
I
up,
can.
sorry.
Here, turn around. Okay.
Oh, they flipped our camera, Ken. Look at
They
that.
did. How did they do that?
They are wizards, and they can do. They're terrifyingly powerful people. That honestly, we should try to our best to avoid crossing.
Now I can.
The tools don't matter.
He is
Just saying.
He is so right. He is so
lovely.
right. You should like be able to use a Q-tip dipped in
Earwax.
No, not earwax. No, please, not earwax. I was gonna say like Cholula hot sauce, but
Earwax tastes terrible.
Oh,
Buddy.
thank you.
we're gonna move that along. We're gonna get back.
I was just gonna turn it over to Alex. It's like, what do you need me for?
We're gonna rapidly change the subject away from that because I feel like I contributed to that situation.
You did indeed. Okay, so what I'm drawing, I usually try to find some kind of a line of action, as I'm working through the composition, and I will turn it around a lot as I'm trying to figure out what is the character going to be doing, and how is that going to work? If he's like this, if that hand is there, it's an interesting problem. Keep asking me questions.
Well, you sort of worked that out.
Yeah,
Hey, who's your favorite Marvel character?
Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Iron Man, that's really easy.
Okay. Do you have a long-term, like, is there a reason why it's like...
Because Iron Man was just like a really smart guy who came up with this amazing outfit that enabled him to do all the cool things he does. He didn't have to be bitten by a radioactive wombat or anything like that. So I thought, wow, I could be Iron Man. Well, I didn't want to be Iron Man because, and then of course we found out, all the demons that he was fighting. I'm having a hard time with this because if I have his hand like this. Oh, okay, I got it now.
Hey, it's gratifying.
Anatomy. It's like really.
I mean, honestly, it's gratifying as somebody who's like, I would say like I'm a passable artist, but I'm not a professional by any means. To see that even like literally somebody who's been professionally doing this for like, what, like 40 years at this point, Ken?
50.
50.
It's September of 2024. It will be 50 years that I've been doing this professionally.
It is very gratifying to see somebody who's been doing something professionally for 50
Still.
years still go, yes, that's the way a hand goes. They're very complicated.
It's
They're very
true.
complicated.
And of course, when you get this kind of foreshortening is tough, but 5 shortening.
Awarded. Point awarded.
I'm here all week, folks.
Pipe down, Alex. Point awarded.
You can tell that he's used these jokes in his classes, and he's like, these people have never heard them before. It's my time!
The best part of that is like I would make what I thought was a clever ironic reference, and the students all go, huh? And they would get me, and they would say something. I go, what? And they'd all laugh at me. So they got even.
Hey, do you have a favorite character to draw? Not because, or do you have a least favorite character to draw? Not because you don't like them, but just because you've always found them kind of miserable to draw.
Any character that's got like a super complex costume or has capes that kind of go everywhere, or something like that.
So none of that like, over the top Magneto stuff where he's just like surrounded by a billowing cape. Get out of here.
Yeah. None of that.
None of that. All right. So when you're drawing, you do a lot of drawing. Do you have any tips for avoiding repetitive sort of like? How do you keep your tools in top order? I guess.
How do I keep my?
You're like take care of your hands and wrists.
Yes. Don't lift heavy objects that you don't have to lift. I don't know. Nothing specific comes to mind. Just be gentle with yourself and it's most of what I mean. You don't honestly, you don't draw with your hands, you draw with your brain. And that was ably proven by a wonderful illustrator named Frank Frazetta, who pretty much created the heroic fantasy look of Conan the Barbarian and so on. And sadly, he had a stroke late in life, and his right side was paralyzed. And so within a few months, he had trained his left side, his left hand, to draw. And if you looked at the drawing that he did, you would know like that it was a Frazetta drawing, because he was drawing, form and line and so on exactly the way only Frank Frazetta would draw. So it's all coming out of here. The hand-eye coordination is of course important, but it's kind of secondary to what's going on in your noggin. Does Puck smoke? I guess we shouldn't.
I feel like everybody in the 70s did at least a little bit of smoking.
Well, especially if he was hanging out with Wolverine, he would smoke and drink beer a lot.
He actually vapes now.
I was gonna say.
Sorry, I stole
I
Alex's
love it.
joke.
I don't know if Puck,
The steals.
I don't know, maybe Puck today's, I don't know if he smokes today, but he probably enjoys a beer. And it's very apropos for Alpha Flight. We had beer on shift earlier today.
I tuned that in, and I was wondering, did I miss that?
Well, it was a beet and sumac beer,
It was what?
and you could really taste the beets.
That's wrong.
So
I'm sorry, that is just...
So there's perhaps a reason that the beer was served before you got here. Ken.
Was that some kind of a challenge, like the Iron Stomach Challenge?
No, it was a expand your horizons challenge. Honestly, I thought it was pretty good. It was an experience. Colin, our photographer, is drinking the rest of a can now.
It's good.
He says it's good. Beer,
Okay, now-
like everything, is taste, I suppose.
Okay, well, there's a place in town called Deadbeat. Is it Deadbeats?
Yeah, dead beets.
Yeah, which like all their burgers come with beets, whether you want them or not, it seems. And their burgers are really good, but I'm just not a beet fan.
I kind of like beets. I kind of like the fact that they are super sweet, but also taste like dirt at the same time.
and they make your pee a funny color.
All of that is
Dead
not
silence.
wrong.
Moving right along.
Kathleen,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a Ken question from inside the studio, and it's not a joke either.
Huh?
Are you familiar with the aphantasia scale, and if so, where are you on it?
I don't know.
I've never actually asked.
I don't know what the
I
aphantasia
have no
scale
idea what
is.
that is.
This was a thing that was doing
For
the
both.
rounds online, and it was like when you picture an object in your
Oh,
mind.
yes. I
Okay.
know exactly what you're talking about now.
And when I thought about it, I was like on the end where it's like not visible at all. Like when I
What?
I think of ideas, like I have the concept of what it looks like, but I do not get like a photographic representation in my head. And I thought it was so weird that
Yep.
apparently people do that.
Yep.
I get an absolute photographic representation, but I can only hold it for like a second or two, and it sort of dissolves.
I feel
if
like
I concentrate, I can get it longer.
I feel like mine are more simplified, but yeah, I learned about this a long time ago when one of my friends from university said whenever she reads, she doesn't see it in her head, and I was completely dumbfounded.
After a while, I don't see
Yeah.
the words. I see whatever is playing out on the page.
Me
It's just
too.
a movie for me in my head.
Right.
But it's like a full I can still imagine the last book I read visually. Does that make sense?
Exactly. I could not tell you a single word that was in it.
I think a lot of that has to do with the quality of the writing. I mean, if the writing is of a character that it does ignite your mind's eye, then yeah. But the question is also, what do you like when you're reading a book or a novel? What do you hear? What is the voice in your head?
I think
And again, I think if the
Alec
writer
Guinness.
is so, James Earl Jones. I mean, that's
Ooh.
stentorian kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the name of that beer?
It was a Brett Saison. I know because Brett was extremely excited that it had the same name as him.
It was Rustic from Il Sauvage was the beer.
Okay. I'm just making a mess here, which is how it usually starts. Wait a second, where did he go? There he is.
All right. Not to keep distracting you from this. This is very fun, but we've got a lot of questions from chat. So
Hi, chat.
Let's
As long as
see.
it's not ChatGPT, I refuse to answer any questions from robots.
No, bust those. Look at me for my restraint, Ken. I don't think
I was
I've
just gonna
sworn
say.
once that I've noticed this
Yep.
whole time.
I'm so impressed.
Thank you for laughing, Andy. So Ken, TQ says we always hear about Marvel and DC. Who's your favorite, not super well-known publisher?
But no, it's okay. Next question: who's stronger, the Thing or the Hulk? Well,
I thought maybe that was like maybe you wanted to who published a book that you just worked on.
that was actually Dark Horse.
Oh,
So,
there you
yeah,
go. So the
yeah,
answer's
yeah.
Dark Horse.
Well,
Because you can get Ken's latest book, War Bears, from there.
hey, it just so happens that I have here.
Yeah. No, okay. This is.
Okay, can we'll take it. Okay, so there's the pencils. See what? Oh,
Yes.
all right,
No,
there
we
go.
flipped it
Yeah,
around,
we
right?
flipped it around.
Where
There
you?
we go. Okay, so you can see the pencils are kind of a mess, but that's because all I really need is those lines of action, so that I've got kind of a nice dynamic sort of pose, and from here I can take it to the next step, which is using the markers and so on. You'll be amazed. What was the question? Oh yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we go on to inking, I can plug.
Yeah.
Okay, I brought a few things along. Very quick. Okay, so War Bears, which is
This is very Canadian, Mikey. I apologize.
it is. Wait a minute. Why would you be apologizing?
apologizing?
Because it's very Canadian. You have to. Canadians apologize.
But
This
it's
is how-
published,
Okay, yeah.
I'm
It's
really
published by
sorry I
Dark
did this
Horse, right?
comic.
Yeah.
Yes.
right?
So it's
We work at the same company because Embracer walks in.
Really?
How about that?
Yeah, Embracer.
Okay, to make a
owns
long
Dark
story short, to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Canada, the Globe and Mail asked a bunch of Canadian writers to write a short story about a period in Canadian history that they found of interest. Margaret Atwood wrote a great story about a fictional Canadian comics company at the end of World War II. I got tapped with the illustration. I loved the story so much. Any good work of art, any good story will leave you unsatisfied. You want to know more. You want to know what happened before, what happened afterwards, and I felt that way. So I called up Margaret and I said, listen, I want to do more with this story, and I pitched the idea, and she said, great. So I wrote this graphic novel with her blessing, and she was kind of my editor, which is amazing to me. She's the most brilliant person I think I've ever met, or top three at least. Extraordinary, and she's a great cartoonist.
Is she really?
Oh, yeah, she's an amazing cartoonist. Then about 2 years ago, it was optioned as a TV series. And originally it was going to be animated, but it may well be live action, I'm not sure. We have an awesome showrunner named Jim Gerard, who's a non-binary artist, producer, director, has extensive presence in the industry. The development is really fascinating because insofar as I took Margaret's original story and ran with it, Jem has taken my story and also run with it, and so has expanded on it, and it's just like gone places that I couldn't even imagine. So it's still in pre-production now, and the challenge, of course, is finding a network to broadcast it. So fingers crossed, high hopes. So there's that. And then we've been doing a whole bunch of, Joan and I have been doing a bunch of edutainment comics. This is one done for UVic about an extraordinary woman named Donna Pastel, who is a quadriplegic, who did not let that slow her down. She became a scholar and a world traveler, and so on. This is, see, I keep reading this. There we go. There's more work I've been doing for the Indigenous Law Research Unit, which is the UVic's Indigenous Law Department. It's for Couch and Band Council about their Indigenous water rights and so on. This one I did for Surrounded by Cedar, which is a designated agency that works with Indigenous youth, urban youth at risk. And it's a young woman's coming of age story. And I also wanted to plug, I've been working with Joan on a number of projects, including this one, which is the story of Tommy Douglas. Who,
Yeah.
yes, our greatest Canadian, greater than Anne Murray and Wayne Gretzky, and so on. This
What?
is the person for. Hey, we have universal health care. Thank you, Tommy Douglas. So yeah.
As a Saskatchewan girl, I'm legally obligated to cheer for Tommy Douglas.
Yeah, and as someone who needs healthcare, especially free healthcare, yeah, okay, signed.
Anyway, so this came out last year in both English and French, and the publisher is doing another book that Joan did about her dad who lived to be 100. It's a biography of his, like, the archetypal immigrant story. Anyway, and then I just wanted to also just give a quick shout out to Joan and I, as you probably know, we created and we're teaching the program in comics and graphic novels at Camosun. Our tenure there ended, but it is now, the torch has been passed to Gareth Godin from Legends Comics, and he is continuing his, he's been doing a cartoon a day for his, like, for the rest of his life. He's up to over 7,000 cartoons. And lately he has been doing cartoons about his mom, who sadly has dementia. And they are exquisite. I said to him, Gareth, you are like the quantum cartoonist, because your cartoons are simultaneously hilarious and heartbreaking. They are just absolutely brilliant. So I encourage you all to go down to Legends Comics. The second volume is out, I think, this weekend. So anyway, there we go. I'm going to get back to this drawing. Any questions?
Oh, so many questions, but I'm going to let you get back to the drawing
Yes,
for a bit.
right.
You were talking about rendering with pen.
Yes, well, here we go. So these are the three tools that I use. Generally speaking, I'll use the brush marker right at the very end to spot the blacks, but these are the two pens I use all the time. So for finer details, I will go in with this one, the blue one, and so I'm kind of whip through this. Are there any questions in the chat about what I'm doing or why I'm doing it? Or?
Oh, yeah. Feel free to talk through your process.
Well, I'm moving the pen around on the paper, and what's happening with the marks, which are articulating form and delineating.
Where do you get your ideas?
There's a place in it's just outside Cincinnati that I write to, and they
Can Iron Man beat Yoda?
While you're doing that, I'll just remind people that we do have a giveaway running right now. If you want to win this sketch that Ken is drawing presently, you can enter our giveaway for $7.87 in the next 11 minutes, and we will be drawing a winner. And we will send this drawing. And you said you were going to personalize it as well, Ken?
I am.
Yeah.
To be clear, we will be selecting a winner. We are drawing
was
the
just gonna
prize.
say
Hey!
8 bucks. Wait a minute.
Wow.
Is postage included?
The number's gone up quite a bit since we started, Ken. So you have about 11 minutes left to get your entries in there, but I feel like we might be at like $625,000. We're at 618 now.
We're at
like,
618.
and still climbing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is bananas.
Yep, we absolutely are.
So my goodness.
So how much would
Gold chat.
Wasn't it? It was like over $1 million last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, we've raised a lot of money. It's pretty cool, honestly. Hey, speaking as someone who's raised a lot of money for Desert Bus, because you've given so much cool stuff away. Is there anything that you've ever regretted donating to Desert Bus? Damn those kids, I want that back.
As a matter of fact, no, because I'm at the stage of my life now where I spent all those years acquiring stuff, and now I'm going to spend what time I have left getting rid of stuff and passing it on to appreciative collectors. And I went through and there's a huge auction house in Dallas called Heritage, and I sent a whole lot of prints and original artwork to them. And the individual prices weren't great, and that kind of made me a little sad, but I thought, you know what, some of this artwork's been sitting on the shelf for decades. So it made a collector happy. I made a couple of bucks, and it got it out of my space. And as we know, if you own too many things, ultimately they own you. They acquire not just physical space, but psychic space. And you're sort of going, what am I going to do with all this stuff? And as I've said to, Alex isn't here. As I've said to the guys, like, when I kick the bucket, just make whatever, like, keep what you want, what has value to you, sell what has value to somebody else, and then the rest make a big bonfire in the backyard and toss me on top. So, of course, all those plastic models, like the toxic, that's not.
I don't think that you would get a permit from the city for that. To be
No.
completely frank with you, Ken.
I agree.
But he's dead though.
Yeah.
Touche.
So I'm not
He
going to
doesn't
worry about
care.
it.
Off to Drawlhalla.
Ooh, I see what you did there. So I am, no, I have no regrets whatsoever, and I'm just delighted that all those things did find a home. I mean, that there was everything to everything there was a season. All those things had a lot of meaning to me. We invest meaning in stuff, but then after a while, you realize that there are things which are they're ephemeral. I mean, really, you really can't take any of this stuff with you. What you want to anyway. Wherever it is that we're gonna go.
Yeah, you don't want to show up with a really heavy suitcase.
That's right.
That's always miserable to travel with.
That's a really great attitude. May I ask a slightly, I guess, self-serving question? Have you ever drawn Juggernaut? That's my favorite Marvel
I'm trying
character.
to think. I know the one you mean. I remember when Rob Liefeld was drawing him. He was so
Oh, hey.
big. I couldn't. I was like, well, how did he get so big? Like when he was introduced back when I was reading comics in the '60s, he was a big guy. He was like 6'6" or 6'7" or something. And then all of a sudden he was like 8 and 12 and like he's just absolutely huge. So I don't think I actually have. No. Okay. We have a request here. I'm gonna tear this one up and I'm gonna draw Juggernaut instead.
I don't want to distract you from, but this is a very similarly connected question. Is there a character that you haven't yet drawn but you want to draw, like from Marvel and
Archie.
Archie.
Every year. Sorry. Every year I say I want to draw Archie, and I've tried to get a hold of the Archie people, and they're all like, what? So yeah. So someday I will get to do Archie, and I will give the original away here on Desert Bus.
I bought Penelope some Archie comics, and like it seems to me that they don't actually commission that many new comics every year.
No.
So
That's why I'm saying it's like, okay, that's why I encourage people to do your own comics. I mean, yes, I understand that everybody wants to play in, it's fun to play in someone else's sandbox, especially if it's Marvel or DC and so on, but those jobs are few and far between nowadays. And it's much better to own your own intellectual property and have control of it, like War Bears, for example, which I co-own with Margaret. So, when that sells, we will be the beneficiaries. When you do something, like Marvel for Marvel or DC, you are contributing to a large, expansive work, but you own nothing. This isn't drying very fast, so I'm worried about erasing it.
You don't want to rush yourself.
No.
If we do not finish the sketch on camera because you're waiting for the pen to dry, we can finish it later and get some pictures up on our blog that will show the finished process for the winner's sketch.
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
So, no need to stress.
Here, I'll sort of erase around it.
We've had another couple questions. Speaking of, sometimes things don't go exactly how you wish them to go. Somebody asked, a couple people actually asked, like, how do you get past the this is not very good phase of drawing, and like where you look at it and you're like, wow, this stinks. You just want to throw it away, and obviously, like, I feel that,
Two things. One, finished, not perfect, because if you look at your work from a year ago, you're better now, and you're going to be better in a year, and 5 years, and 10 years, and so on. So just get it done. It's never going to be perfect. Perfection is an illusion. And two, would pick one that is all smudgy. What was I saying? So
perfection is an illusion.
Perfection is an illusion.
Time doubly so.
Trust the process. There is a process, and that's one of the things that Joan and I established was when you're drawing, draw structurally. Imagine things exist in space that I don't mean outer space, but I mean just that they are physical. They have 3 dimensions, and so when you draw something, imagine having mass and volume and so on.
Weight.
Now, see, some of these covers, the paper is really crappy, and this is one of them.
Oh no!
So I just realized that as I'm erasing, I'm going to erase this very carefully. And I should have brought a kneaded eraser, but I think I can still pull this together.
It's a kneaded eraser is like that sack of eraser bits, right?
No.
What?
Sack of eraser bits?
It's like I've seen it. They're like, it's like a sack, isn't it? Like
No, that actually, what
I have no idea what you're talking about.
we were told in art school that was called a scum bag.
Oh.
And what it is it's a fabric bag full of bits of an eraser that you use to clean surfaces with.
Not wrong.
I've never seen such
I thought
an
it was.
instrument.
I thought that was a kneaded eraser.
I will
because
show you mine.
They're mushy, right?
No, a
I'm
kneaded
probably
eraser-
okay, like having got this far in life without seeing my father's scumbag.
Yeah.
You
That
really
number
teed that
again.
one up for me.
Womp womp.
Wah. Okay, actually that's not looking too bad. Alright, so then, wait a minute, I just gotta pull up the image again.
While you're doing that, I'll just remind people we've only got 3 minutes left in that giveaway, so make sure you get your donations in right away.
And now I will start to spot the blacks.
The kneaded eraser is a gray chewing gum.
Yes, and tastes terrible.
It's an acquired taste.
It is not cotton candy. I have a good authority.
But it could be if you think hard enough.
Anything is anything if you
Picture
try
the
hard
smell
enough.
in your mind.
The cool thing about kneaded eraser is you can shape it any way you want.
Thank you.
That's actually like laughing in the graveyard, Kathleen, because the idea is so horrifying to me. But
I mean, I'll just take a reaction. It can be horrified or delayed.
yeah.
Let's see. Do you enjoy any other classic movies aside from Creature in the Black Lagoon?
Anything by Hayao Miyazaki.
Yes.
And we have a tradition at Halloween that we always watch Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein.
Oh, check.
Right, chick.
Check.
Get the
check.
Get the phone. Get the
Check!
Right, chick.
Oh.
What is it, Wilbur?
So, when you say splat the blacks, that just means laying down the
Yep.
the black parts.
Yes.
Suddenly, it's all coming together because you can picture this in your mind.
Yes. And
And-
I'm also looking at the clock, which is ticking. How could I have, like, where did the time go? I just got here.
Desert bus.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how it goes.
I went to the
Take
bus hole.
total time and on Alpha Flight divide by half.
Yeah, it's a fast moving shift.
It is.
Yeah, you might got an hour to draw, but you got 30 minutes.
What did I miss? Did I miss any questions?
Oh, probably. I haven't been watching chat either.
There was one I saw that was, what was it like working with Harlan?
That was brilliant. Harlan Ellison is one of the most, not just one of the most brilliant authors, but a remarkable person. He was, I did a graphic novel. It was not really a graphic novel. It was a compilation of all the stories we've done together.
1 minute left on that giveaway. Sorry, Ken, to interrupt, but you've got
No
less
worries.
than a minute to get your $7.87 in, please. We are dangerously close to $620,000. I think this giveaway can push us over, even though there's only 30 seconds left.
Come on, you can do it. Just think someone is going to get this astonishing hurried sketch for, what did we say? $7.87.
87 cents. I remember because
Wow, that's a deal.
because engineering put it up on the screen. It's great. I get to like turn off huge portions of my brain while this is going on. The only things that I really need to engage are that little switch that bypasses the common sense center and allows me to just keep talking and filling air while you're doing things like splatting blacks. And the part of my brain that annoys Joe Trollo, that one I want.
And Joe Trollo would be who?
He's the person who's kind of in charge. Like him and Map are in charge of the like the visual presentation there in the broadcast booth. But Joe is much easier to antagonize than Map, who I would describe as like the sea on a cloudy day. You see a little bit of the turmoil, but it just is truly hidden from you. The magnificent depths.
I think there's probably sharks in there.
But I can't see them.
I've got a question for you,
Yes.
Ken. The pen you're using right now. This is the brush tipped one.
Yes, this is the Pentel brush marker, and
Ooh.
it is the most fabulous tool imaginable.
Do you have a favorite like pen supply place? Like where should
Opus.
some Opus?
Either Opus or Island Blue, either one have pretty much everything that you need.
I think Island Blue might even ship online if you're not in Victoria.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly Opus as well, actually. So it's a Pentel brush tip,
Pentel brush marker.
a brush marker, and the other ones were Tombos.
And the Tombos come either individually or there's a 2-pack that has both of the green and the blue. So I'm trying to make this like really kinetic, like he's actually tumbling, because that was kind of his thing, was he would tumble.
Oh, he does actually have hockey powers?
Yes, well he does now, because I've given
It
them
was
to him.
it was hockey or Shakespeare, one of the two.
I love how you're like, yeah, there's the line of motion.
Boing,
It's like,
boing,
I do not
boing.
know what's going on, but now it has all resolved itself.
And he's also really hairy, so I'll take a few
Yeah,
minutes to.
bare arms.
Well, that's ooh. Wow, everybody's on fire tonight.
You started puns. I'm activated.
We've had 5 whole days together.
Pun mode activated.
Charge the pun
We-
cannon.
We have been trying to pun each other into oblivion for the better part of a week now, Ken. Here on Alpha Flight, there are no depths to which we will not sink.
Got 8 minutes to finish this.
Wow, he is hairy. He's in good company with Logan.
Yeah.
So you don't have a normal pencil sharpener. You're
Is
just
Logan
using
Superman?
I do, but I prefer to use an X-Acto because it makes a real mess.
Yes.
No, but I
Yes.
assume
Yes.
it's better too,
Yes,
right?
he is.
Well, better
having the same
in some
tone
ways,
when
because
you're
what you
being
can do
sarcastic and
is,
you're
as you
being
can see, you can
serious, like-
create really nice
I have to watch your
changes in
eyebrows.
value.
But how you like use the pencil, because you can give it that like longer sort of exposure, I guess, because you're using
Kind
the
of,
X-Acto
exactly,
knife?
because it's what it's doing is it's laying down a different value. It isn't just black or white, it can lay down a nice value, a nice mid-range. So it enables me to do that.
I like that you can also see the sort of like the one that you're using to splat your blacks. That term lives rent free in my head now forever. You can really see like the different like the values where you've gone back over and you've like darkened it up and stuff like that. That's cool.
Forgive me, but it's actually spot the blacks. But now I am going to change it to splat the blacks.
I
'cause
thought you
that
said
is-
splat.
No.
I've said it wrong like 6 times.
but,
Incredible.
but I liked it so much.
It's
so
like the first time I said Proust all over
I
again.
did.
That's a
Ooh,
joke just
we-
for Alpha Flight.
We hit wingdings. We hit 620.
We hit
Nice.
at even 620, so now it's time
Yay.
for everything to be in wingdings. You did that.
I have no idea what that means.
We don't either.
It's gibberish.
Yeah, they put the overlay in gibberish until morale improves.
I don't speak gibberish. I've told you that.
I got a question for you, Ken.
Yes.
When you're drawing something, do you draw it differently if you're just doing like an ink drawing like this, or if you're doing something that you know is going to be colored later for a comic by somebody else?
Okay, for one thing, I rarely do that, simply because I'm a big show-off. And I like to take all the credit or accept all the blame for what I do. So everything I do is pretty much planned out in such a way that, but to your point, absolutely, if I'm doing something in color, then a lot of the values will also be established. The values is in the relationship between light and dark. And what's interesting is you can have a full color illustration that still looks really flat if the values of all the colors are the same. So you have different hues, green, red, blue, whatever. But if they're the same relative value, and you can check that simply by changing it from RGB to a grayscale.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised how quickly like everything just flattens out. And so to establish foreground, middle ground, background, that's an important consideration, is like what are the values. So it's very important to have good values.
I've tried to, instill good values in Penelope.
Yeah, I was just going to say, so get her one of these pencils, and then,
Yeah.
see now I realize that should have been, like, it's a beer, but what kind of beer would it be? is that a Canadian beer that you were just talking about?
Oh yeah, Il
Labatt
Sauvage was
Blue.
Canadian beer.
Labatt Blue.
Labatt Blue. No.
I feel like
Cinq
Kokanee, man.
No, it should be Molson Export Ale
Ooh.
There you go.
or Brador.
Lucky lager.
Raymond used to work in Colwood, and he said when you go to the bus, there would be all these empty Lucky cans, like at the bus
Ugh.
stop.
What did Bob and Doug McKenzie used to drink?
Probably,
I think it was
probably
Malt.
Canadian.
But what was the
Yeah.
factory from
Also-
the movie they did?
Are we talking about Strange Brew just
Yes.
so I catch up?
Yeah. What's the beer company from Strange Brew?
Oh, I saw that when I was
Wait, we've
8.
got the
Americans
VHS.
not huge Strange. SCTV, that all kind of
What? You didn't
Sorry.
watch CanCon?
We got the straight
Uh-huh.
from VHS on set. We can check. He's got a VCR. Give
What
us
I
20
did.
minutes.
I watched.
Elsinore.
Yeah,
Elsinore was
Steacy
the
Power.
brewery, I think.
Oh, interesting.
That's what Chad said.
Okay, I'm just gonna, you know what I'm gonna do?
Shakespeare
I'm just gonna make this. This is going to be. Sorry, sorry. What was the company that had the no-name foods, the yellow and black?
President's Choice.
There's gonna be President's Choice beer.
Oh yeah,
Ian
just
will
the
love
no
it.
name. Yep. Love
Yeah,
it.
the no
Love
name
it.
brand. Yeah.
We did.
Yeah,
We did a
no name
couple
brand
years
is
ago.
no name brand. President's Choice was the Superstore's
Yes.
in-house brand, wasn't it?
I think so.
Like it's not quite branded, but they still have like
Oh yeah, I suppose.
you know that
Tim-
they famously have like the decadent chocolate chips, which have
Yeah.
the best package art imaginable.
Okay, here's a lovely little piece of trivia. The guy who started Loblaws, which is the chain of grocery stores.
Right? Yeah, that's
His name is Robert.
Rob blah blah
No, Bob blah blah.
blah blah blah.
Bob blah blah's law blog. Here we go.
True fact.
His parents
True
were
fact.
a couple of practical jokers.
I was gonna say his parents were sadists. Wow. He's gonna get made fun of all through school. Okay, I think that's
I
kind of
guess
as
I
done as
shouldn't
it's gonna
make
be.
too much fun of like American grocery chains like Kroger and Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah, I was just about to say
Well,
something
because
about
we
Piggly
have
Wiggly,
places like Overweighty.
but we do.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
That's just wrong.
If you want, we do.
I want to press the button. I want to press the button.
Yeah.
You
We do
gotta
have
go and you gotta
Okay.
go and over to where Tim is sitting to press the button.
Okay, so here we go. Here it is.
Oh, they gotta change the camera angle. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Go over to where Tim is. Tim's the guy in the red shirt at the end there. Oh no, go around the back.
Oh, no.
Sorry. It's a very complicated set here. There's a lot of things happening. There's a lot of people. There's a bunch of people coming into the room.
Click that button right there. Up, and let me get a microphone for you. Hang on.
Oh, Erica. That's the.
Oh wow, this is like I'm testifying before some committee of some kind.
You have to get real close to the mic.
I was totally unaware of what I was doing at the time. I am an unindicted co-conspirator, yes, but
What am I clicking on? I don't want to click on the wrong thing.
You're right there on it already.
So I just like right or left click?
Left click.
Left click.
No, not that one.
No, the yellow one. No, the red one. The yellow one. Okay, here we go. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, 0.
And 42 milliways. Ken,
Yes.
would you like to know how much money your sketch has raised?
Yes, I would like to know how much my sketch has raised. I'm not really
is-
here. This is the AI version of Ken. Yes, hello.
Perfect. No notes, Ken.
It has raised $6,185.82.
They don't call me value added for nothing.
Ken, that is amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Oh.
And may I say thank you to all of you. What you do is just brilliant and it means so much. Especially the way things are in the world today, to see this much positivity and empathy and compassion and so on. I just wanted to give a quick shout out. I'm so honored to be all those nicknames, but the best one of all, Ken, value added Steacy. I think the greatest value that I have added, I have to say, is to be the co-creator of two wonderful sons, Alex and Raymond. So,
Gosh.
who carry on and has been so involved with this with us, and you know.
Give me more notice next time.
Alpha Flight gets no notice. It's
But,
just cry live.
But yeah, as much as I've enjoyed doing all this, it's also giving back and teaching and mentoring and so on. So and then of course the opportunity to be here and share that with everyone out there. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, everyone.
Oh, thank you, Ken.
Thank you, Ken.
Do I have to go now?
We do. Do you see all of those dudes who want where we're sitting?
I was going to say all these people sort of came in. They're all like, okay.
They're all ready to go. But I'm already running into your time, Night Watch. Deal with it.
Oh, this is Night Watch. Oh man.
Yeah, I know.
Kathleen
Why are they
does
all
not
why are
speak
they
for
all
the
wearing,
rest of
like-
us. I want to
They're
be
all
very
wearing
clear.
body armor.
Yeah, they all have pikes. It looks like. Anyhow,
No, they
Ken,
all have night vision goggles.
when people wanted to find your stuff, where can they find you online,
Um,
or should they not?
I don't have much of a presence. I'm kind of shy and
But what con are you going to in Brisbane next year?
Yeah, Supernova in April.
Any other
than that,
appearances?
well, I can just drop by the house. No.
All right, next segment. Ken invites us all over for tea, which is good because we all have to clear out of here anyhow. So
Yeah.
Ken, thank you so much again for coming and being our value-added emeritus and
Thank you.
and coming by and giving away this incredible sketch for Alpha Flight.
Well, especially after this long interregnum.
Yeah, I'm just so happy that we could do this again. So unfortunately, that's it for Alpha Flight. It's already 6:02 p.m. So enjoy this video